Erica, did you see in the news this week that another black man lost his life to the hands of law enforcement, Rayshard Brooks?
I did see that, and it's just disgraceful. It's becoming a weekly situation now, and it's especially sad since this whole thing could have easily been avoided.
I agree, Erica. And in this case, Mr. Brooks was shot in the back by police officers in Atlanta, Georgia. What we're seeing, though, is that the protests that we've seen over the last couple of weeks are really starting to have an effect, because in this case, the officers have already been terminated from their employment and brought up on criminal charges. Both the primary officer and his co-officers have been charged as co-conspirators, and they currently remain on unpaid administrative leave.
Wow, it sounds like change is in the air, and all of the protesting and information in the news is starting to change society and how we handle situations like this.
I think I agree with you 100%. The length of the engagement in this case with a DUI stop, all of the information that's gathered during the process of that DUI stop led to what I think is a significant contributor to the charges being issued in this case. It would have been very easy for the officers in that situation to just let Mr. Brooks go and track him down later on a warrant. The officers failed to de-escalate the situation, and then after Mr. Brooks was shot, they failed to provide medical attention for over 2 minutes, including a period of time when they were kicking him in the head. I think these are the factors that led the DA to pursue criminal charges in this case.
Oh my God, I didn't realize they were kicking him in the head. I also think I read somewhere that they were standing on his shoulders.
There was a significant tussle before Mr. Brooks got a hold of the taser and ran away. I don't recall them being standing on his shoulders after he was shot, but they were leaning on his body and not providing medical attention. And the whole thing is recorded on videotape.
Oh my God. I mean, you would think that they would learn something from what's been happening in the news lately.
I think law enforcement officers try to protect their own first and foremost. And we've talked a few times on this show about the requirement that I think should be added to each and every police officer's contract, that if they see misconduct among their police officers, among their fellow police officers, that they should be required to report it. And obviously in this case, that didn't happen.
It is so sad, and I'm really sorry for that gentleman's family, and I do hope that that justice is served when it comes to the situation. And they have it on videotape. They've already taken swift action, and I mean these are all good things to see. Good changes.
They are. And one of the other really good changes that came out this week is that Governor Mike DeWine here in Ohio proposed a formal police reform policy. And surprisingly, it was met with, albeit tepid, support from the Ohio Fraternal of Police. Now, Governor DeWine's proposal puts a ban on chokeholds except for life and death situations. Now, is this enough, or can it go further? Should chokeholds be completely banned?
Well, I mean, I think that leaves a giant loophole in a defense for the police department. If a chokehold is used, they could just say that the situation warranted it and just keep using chokeholds.
I think you're right, Erica, and I hearken back to the videotape of the unarmed black man who was with his ward. He was a home health aide, and his ward was in crisis. And he's sitting next to his ward, hands up, not a threat to anybody. And yet in that case, the officers claimed that they felt in danger for their lives as they gunned him down. So I think officers use that fear for officer safety as a buffer and a tool to justify what is really excessive force.
Well, I'm glad that they are at least taking some steps toward minimizing the use of chokeholds if they can't get rid of them altogether right away.
Absolutely. Now, Governor DeWine also put in his policy that body cams shall be mandatory for all officers during their shift. Now, I think there's a couple of issues with this. One is that the new order doesn't say anything about mandating that they be active and running. And I've seen numerous investigations where officers turn their body cams and their microphones on and off as they see fit. And I think we are going to see a lot of resistance by police agencies about funding, because body cams aren't cheap. But one of the movements, the defund the police movements, would be in support of this, and the funds used to militarize police can be reallocated rather than giving them tanks and fully automatic weapons. We can now reallocate those funds to things like body cams, so that making sure that every single police interaction is videotaped.